Year 9. This is your summer work for your GCSE in Computer Science. This first slide gives you a quick overview of everything that you'll cover in the course as a whole. Some of the units we've already looked at, and your first few weeks in Year 10, we're going to be reviewing computer systems and just making sure you've fully grasped all of that with the work we did in Year 9, and we're going to be doing some programming, and that will continue throughout the year as you move on to other units to complement it. On the right hand side, you've got an example of a computer science revision guide. This is the one we'd recommend if you are looking to buy yourself a textbook that goes with the course. I'm not saying you have to buy it, but I know some of you have asked questions about what book you could use, so that's the one that we would recommend. For the summer work that we'd like you to have a go at is we'd actually like you to make sure you've got that real understanding of computer systems and programming. The computer systems section should be a review, although there will be some extra little bits that you might not have covered in Year 9, which is why we're revisiting and finishing it off in Year 10. The programming, you will continue to learn that throughout the course and develop your skills. So there'll be some small elements that you might not have done because we need to bring those on. So I'll show you that in a bit more detail. What we're looking for, though, is for you to be really familiar with the knowledge organiser and to try and think about how you can use it effectively to help you learn keywords and terms so that you can apply them in exams. To help you do this, we've included a little knowledge page of ways that you could actually test yourself, and then also some test questions. So this is your knowledge organiser for programming. And what we've done here is just added some key elements of what you could use to help structure a program or structure your code. So you've got things like data types, which you definitely should be familiar with. You should understand some programming concepts and variables and constants. For example, we've looked at the if-else statement in Year 8, and you should have done it in Year 9 as well. You should be able to explain what a variable is. You should know what arithmetic operations and relational operators are because they relate directly to maths. You might not have done arrays yet, the data structures, so don't worry too much. And you might not have looked at input and output file handling, but that's something that you'll look at in Year 10 and 11. And then on the right hand side, you've got things like string handling. You might have done some work on subroutines, but say as you move to that right hand side of the knowledge organiser, that will be the new knowledge that you'll be looking at in Year 10. Here you've got the knowledge page. So most of this relates to stuff that you've already done, but obviously in the top bottom left, you've got programming, input and output and file handling, something you haven't done. You're welcome to research it yourself, but what you should be doing is making sure that you understand what's involved in the other three sections. So you should know your data types, you should know most of the concepts, you should know a little bit about the difference between pseudocode and writing in code, such as Python, and then you've got your expressions at the bottom that support your code. And here you've got the self-quiz questions. So these are ones that we've given to you, but obviously you've got more of your own. So this is your way of testing and using the knowledge organiser really effectively. You should definitely be able to answer everything in the first column, some of the second. So have a go at do as much as you can. What can happen in September then is if you bring this in with you, your teacher can help fill the gaps. So in Year 9, you've looked at computer systems. Most of this should be familiar with you, familiar to you. So you should understand what a computer system is, what hardware and software is, what utility software does. And you should have started to think about what's inside the CPU and the von Neumann architecture. So I think you've worked on that with Miss Bano, so you should understand that. And if you haven't already, you will be looking in more detail at the fetch execute cycle and what can improve the efficiency and the speed of your computer in terms of the CPU, which is what's on the right hand side. You've then got some additional key terms that you should all know. So all of that, those key terms on the left hand side, you should know the meanings of. You should also know about different types of secondary storage You might not have done the Boolean logic section on the right, so don't worry about that too much. So we've given you a knowledge page again, so we've asked for definitions of different things. The Boolean logic section, once again, you might not know, so don't worry about that. But all the other sections, you should have some element of understanding, and you should be able to use the knowledge organiser to help you complete that. That's just an example of ways that you could use the knowledge organiser and test yourself to see if you've got understanding. So you could create your own one of these. And then finally, you've got your questions, your self-quiz questions to go with computer systems. So these are the kinds of things that you should be able to explain and know. So really have a go at all of the questions in the red section, and then what you can in some of the other sections. Obviously, you're free to research them in more detail, but once again, it's really helpful to bring this in September so you can teacher can see where you feel strongly you understand and where you might need more help. I hope you found that useful, Year 9, and I look forward to seeing your work and you sharing your work with your teacher in September. Have a good summer.